Okay, so this is going to be part 7 in making a Old West, authentic Old West holster. Last time I showed, I believe, how to mark out where you cut your slits. I should allow a little more space to make this bigger, but too late now. I'm just going to have to run with it. So that's a little skinnier than what I wanted originally, but I'll show you what I did to make that, or something similar anyways. So to do this, you could use a round hole punch or a rotary punch. Since I have a few more tools than I did when I was starting out, I'm going to use an oblong. I'm going to punch a hole here through 2 plies of leather, so this is going to take a decent amount of force. I'm going to punch out the other side here. I'm going to go across to the other end and punch out that. Keep my lines straight from each other. Okay, so before, when I did this one, I put a round hole punch here, took a utility knife and cut a little ways this way, flipped it like this, then cut a little ways that way. It went okay, but since I got the tools to do it a little bit differently, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to keep stepping this out a little ways. Still not perfect, but a little cleaner looking hole. I'll have to sand that out a little bit. So I'm going to step this one out. Like I said, not perfect, but should work for what I need it to. See if I allowed enough space here, because it's kind of hard to tell till you get it in there, which I need to enlarge it a little bit. So I'm just going to take my oblong and bump it out a little bit in each direction, not much. I'm just taking off the very end. About as much as what a round hole punch would take off. That is kind of what the finished project will look like. Pretty close anyway. It's not the perfect look of what I wanted, but it's pretty close. I think I need to enlarge those slits just a little bit more, probably top and bottom. So I'm just going to bump them out just a little bit, not much. So my slits, the lines on my slits aren't perfect by any means. Alright, that's better. That fits a lot better. I might put a tie down leg tie on this, or you'd put a hole in the end here and lace it through. That helps keep it from, because this is a high retention holster. If I'm just holding this, see how that comes out? So I'll probably have to attach it on the bottom some way or another. After I wet form this, it'll come out easier. Okay, that's done. I'll be right back. I gotta grab a file thing. So this is just a sandpaper file. Came in a leatherworking kit. I'm just gonna kind of even out those edges with it. If you weren't worried about making it 1800s historically accurate, you wouldn't have to worry about these slits. You could have a separate piece of strap, a separate piece of leather to go around this. That's a lot easier to work with and easier to get to look good. A little less brain work. If you screw something up, you can just start over, where this, if you mess up something, it's just plain part of the holster. You're not going to fix it. So that's kind of a personal preference thing. I've made a lot of holsters. I've only made one where you do the slits in the skirt like this. All the rest of mine have separate strap of one kind or another. I like the looks of those better, but this, I want this one to look a little more historically accurate. I'm sure it's not 100%, but at least the techniques are pretty close. Okay. Alright. I'm going to go grab another tool here. Show you guys a few more things. Okay, so I'm going to take a edge beveler and just take off the outer edge here. This will help even up my line just a little. Hopefully, anyway. So it's not perfect, it's a little rough. Might sand it a little more and see if I can get it to look a little better. I haven't found a perfect system for doing this with a lined belt yet, or lined holster yet, because when you're going cutting through 2 plies of leather with this, it's really hard to keep your knife even on both plies. I'll get a little extra on one side or the other, so it's just kind of something you deal with. Okay, so this is the side that's going to be showing here. That off. So I'm going to take a stitch groover. This one came in a kit. I'm going to set it for, let's see, a little under 1/4 of an inch is about where I've got it. Yeah, and I like where that's at. So I'm going to groove the inside. All the way around. Okay. Flip it this way. outside here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that very good or not, but what this did, it went around here and then it goes through the center, and I only have one stitch line on that strap right in the center of it. I was hoping for one on each side, but I just made it too thin. Trial and error. With leather working, I've probably used this, I don't know if I've used this phrase on a video before, but I've thought it enough. You mess it up until you get it right. That's how leather working goes, at least for me. But eventually, you can make something decent. Okay. Now I'm going to punch my holes. I'm going to use a 2-prong flat 4mm chisel. Just going to start on an edge here. Going along that groove I made. So I would keep chiseling a line all the way around here, around there, and do it around and around there, and then use a saddler stitch. So I'm gonna probably end the video off here. I'll get all that chiseled, and the next one I'll probably show you a little bit of sewing, and then it'll be we gotta add a couple things. Gotta add a hammer thong somewhere in here after I figure it out. I gotta wet form it yet and dye it, and then punch a hole in the bottom of here and bottom of the skirt for attaching it. But I'll do that after I get it all stitched up and get it all sitting exactly where I want it. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.